Greeting to all of you. Phương Thảo is pleased to always accompany you in watching the news bulletin on 24 Hours channel. Our bulletin provides the latest and most accurate news about the social and political situation, as well as the latest information news that occurred during the day. Now, let's take a look at the main information.
Dear valued audience, yesterday evening, Typhoon number 2 with winds reaching a terrifying 290 km per hour approached and directly threatened the cities of Tondao, making it the worst day so far this year. The storm's added fury from the dragon spout movement caused many people to be swept away by the wind. Hundreds of roofs and walls were blown away, and trees were uprooted. Several boats moored at the port were also sunk by the large waves and strong winds. Coastal areas of Shandong, Jiangsu, and Zhejiang provinces, as well as the entire eastern region of China, were severely affected by the storm and heavy rain. Cities like Tondao, Hangzhou, Nanjing, and Tianjin experienced heavy rainfall, resulting in widespread flooding and submerging entire cities in water, with winds reaching a terrifying 290 km per hour. Trees were uprooted, houses collapsed, and vehicles were swept away by the floodwaters. The strong winds caused power lines to break, leading to widespread power outages. In some areas, such as Laming, power outages have still not been restored, leaving residents in darkness. With the ongoing stormy weather, many residents have taken to social media to seek help and request food supplies to combat hunger, as they are unable to cook or leave their homes. Particularly in Tondao, a city adjacent to the sea, many buildings have suffered foundation damage and collapsed. Rescue teams are currently unable to reach the affected areas to help the residents due to the extremely strong winds, which can easily sweep away vehicles and cars. The impact of the storm is devastating and brutal. According to information received by emergency response agencies in China, the storm has claimed nearly 2,000 lives and left around 3,200 others injured or missing. According to the National Meteorological Center, there were approximately 1,000 major flights scheduled for today, all of which have been cancelled until further notice. The Central Meteorological Observatory of China has reported that as of this morning, Typhoon number 2 is located in the coastal area of Shandong province, about 80 kilometers southeast, with winds near the center of the storm reaching 68 m/s. In recent days, China has experienced various natural disasters such as typhoons, floods, hailstorms, and volcanic eruptions. Currently, Typhoon number 2 continues to move northwest at a speed of 15 to 20 km per hour. The China Meteorological Forecast Center has issued an urgent warning from 8 p.m. yesterday until this morning for northern Jiangsu, Tondao, southern Jiangsu, and southern Anhui, with wind speeds reaching up to 150 km per hour and heavy to extremely heavy rainfall, according to statistics from the China Meteorological Network. As of yesterday morning, Jiangsu and Tondao provinces had issued warnings at levels 229 and 296, respectively. Currently, the Meteorological Agency of Zhejiang Province has also upgraded the weather disaster warning from level 2 to level 1, the highest level on China's warning scale. In reality, on the same day, several areas including Zhejiang, Jiangsu, Tondao, and southeastern Jiangsu were severely affected by the strong winds, resulting in heavy rainfall and widespread flooding. In Hangzhou and Ningbo cities, there were continuous heavy rains, with accumulated rainfall exceeding 300 millimeters in 12 hours in Dongshan Village, Tianhua Town, and Hangzhou City. Many villages in the area have experienced serious flooding, and similar situations have been reported in many places in Ningbo City. Although the exact statistics are not available, the reported damage by residents is terrifying. With the ongoing stormy weather and the forecast for the coming days, it is impossible to predict what will happen. Currently, cities in the eastern provinces have issued red alerts for the storm and heavy rainfall. Among them, Tondao and Nanjing have been the most severely affected. The streets resemble vast seas, with many cars floating on the roads. Furthermore, Typhoon number 2 is expected to make landfall in the coastal provinces of central China tonight and will become the strongest storm in the northeast region. Also this morning, the local newspaper reported a very special news, that due to the impact of Typhoon number 2, the wind blew away a government office building in the city of Nanjing, Jiangsu province, causing the entire 5-story building to collapse, and then the wind scattered everything in the building. Until now, local authorities have not made any comments or inquiries about this. Also, due to the influence of Typhoon number 2, heavy rain has caused similar conditions in the cities of Ningbo and Hangzhou in Zhejiang province, resulting in severe flooding. The most severe impact is on coastal areas, where fresh water intrusion has occurred, rendering the water unusable for residents. Also this morning, local officials and the Tondao airport announced the cancellation of all flights to and from Hangzhou. Government officials and the China Meteorological Agency predict that Typhoon number 2 will continue to move further inland and into Hubei province, then turn west at a speed of about 15 kilometers per hour. According to the report from the Tucson International Airport in Hangzhou, yesterday many major airlines had to suspend all flights to and from Hangzhou and the surrounding areas due to the impact of Typhoon number 2. Meanwhile, the city of Vinchao in Hubei province is still suffering from heavy rains and flooding in recent days, which is considered a record level in decades, according to Chinese media, due to the impact of Typhoon number 2 on the Shandong Peninsula and other areas. There will be heavy to extremely heavy rainfall. Tondao, Jiuquan, Laishi, Yendai, and other places have issued red alerts for the storm and rain. Most scenic spots have temporarily closed, schools have suspended classes, road traffic is almost paralyzed, and many trains have been delayed or suspended. A video posted by netizens shows that Tondao has become a vast ocean. Residents in Nguintrang district had to break down walls to drain water, and even Tondao Airport has become a place for swimming as the water accumulates to about 50 centimeters. While Tondao is flooded, the Chinese government's media has made a video mocking the drainage system built by the Germans over 100 years ago, causing public complaints. The upper reaches of the Yangtze River are experiencing the third flood of the year, as the rising water level causes a record-breaking amount of water to be discharged at the Three Gorges Dam. The world-famous dam has to discharge water at night to maintain the water level of the downstream hydrological observatory within a safe range. Jia Yulei, a senior engineer at the Three Gorges Dam, told SCMP that the discharge of water can also reduce flooding and relieve pressure on the middle and lower reaches of the Yangtze River. So far, the storm has caused economic losses of up to 5.8 billion yuan in Sichuan province. The city of Dazhou in Sichuan province issued the highest-level storm warning on the morning of the previous day, as 2 major rivers in the area could cause flash floods and flooding. The China Meteorological Administration announced that it has upgraded the flood warning to a red alert and raised the emergency response level from level 4 to level 2 on the same evening. The southwestern area of Beijing and the central region of Hebei province have been hit by torrential rain, with rainfall reaching up to 380 millimeters, accompanied by thunderstorms and strong winds. In the capital city of Beijing alone, a recorded rainfall of 477.6 millimeters was measured at noon the previous day, resulting in over 700 flights being cancelled and students having to stay at home. Beijing has issued multiple warnings to local residents about storms, floods, and strong winds. Since the afternoon 2 days ago, kindergartens, primary schools, and secondary schools have been temporarily suspended. Yesterday, the Beijing municipal government also advised employees to work from home. Many tourist destinations in Beijing have been closed, and an emergency warning has been issued for the largest amount of rainfall since the beginning of 2023. China's Flood and Drought Control Headquarters has sent 3 task forces to support local governments in Suntai Province, Hebei Province, and Beijing in dealing with the floods. According to Eastern News Agency, as heavy rain continues in China without signs of cooling down, from now until the end of March, China is expected to experience heavy to extremely heavy rain and is susceptible to landslides, flash floods, waterspouts, earthquakes, and tsunamis in many areas facing China. Eastern News reported that Beijing's Urban Traffic Police Department has activated an emergency response plan and deployed personnel to clear drainage holes in all provinces and cities. Heavy rain has also affected many other cities in the region between Hebei and Jiangsu, causing these provinces and cities to be submerged in floodwaters. Dear audience, under the impact of the floodwater, the Yangtze River, also known as the Yangtze, China's largest river and the third largest in the world, has affected the main urban area of Trungcan with severe flooding. Many people exclaimed that they have never witnessed such a terrible flood in their lifetime. This is the historic misfortune of the Chinese people. Others believe that the heavens are punishing China, wondering what crimes the Chinese government has committed for the heavens to send millions of tons of water day and night. Despite the horrifying natural disaster, the government's response has greatly angered the people. Mr. Hong, a local resident, recounted that when the disaster first occurred, the state media in China reported it briefly, and people were constantly concerned. But now, unless they are victims or have family members who have experienced such disasters, it is difficult for them to understand the specific situation of the catastrophe.
We sincerely thank you all for your attention and viewership. Please like, subscribe to our channel, and click the notification bell to receive the fastest and most accurate news update from 24 Hours channel. Goodbye and see you in the next video.